And hello everyone, welcome back to another CSS tutorial. So in this tutorial we will be talking about selectors, not all of them but most of them. So I'm going to use this style tag here just so we can see the HTML as well as the CSS, but you could of course use this style CSS file instead. I'm just going to clear it for now. Alright, now what exactly is a selector? We covered this a little bit in the previous tutorial. Let's say we have a p tag with some lorem. So this p tag can be selected with a selector. So if I say p with open brackets and closing brackets, these should be squiggly brackets, then I have selected this p tag. And here I could do something such as color red, and now it will make the color of the text red. So we selected this p tag with its selector. And before we continue, one thing you might want to take note of is comments. Comments uses this syntax, so slash star star slash. Anything between these will not be read by CSS. These are for you to understand what's going on in your code. For example, here I can say this makes the text color red. Then let's say 5 years down the line, I come back to this project and I wonder, what does this do? And it's like, this makes the text color red. Comments can be used to help future you or someone else reading your code to understand it. And of course, these comments also last multiple lines. So if we do this, you can see as long as it's within these, it will not be red and it will last multiple lines. But take note, if I were to say color blue here and I were to remove that, my bad, then as you can see, it will not make the color blue. That's because in a comment, nothing gets read. This is for you and you alone. Cool. Now another type of selector you can get is with the HTML ID. So here we could go and give this h1 an ID of main title. Now I can select this by just going hashtag for the ID and then main dash title. And this will apply styling to the element with this ID. So here I can say font size 2 rem, or actually let's go 3 rem since 2 rem is about the same size. Yeah. So now you can see it will apply styling, but only to this h1 because it has this ID. Now you might be wanting to apply the same styling to multiple elements. Now the problem is you could go h1 and you apply the styling for h1, and in p then you apply the same styling for p. But see, the problem with this is this will select all of the h1s and this will select all of the p tags. To give you an example, this color red on this p, if I were to copy and paste this will also be red. Whilst with this h1, and we just remove this ID, you'll notice this h1 does not have the same styling as this h1, because this one used an ID selector, whilst with this p tag it used an element selector. So it selected this element, so all of the p tags are modified, whilst here only the element with this ID. But you may also know from HTML that you shouldn't give multiple elements the same ID. IDs should be unique. However, for multiple elements, you could give them a class. A class can be the same on multiple elements. For example, if I go here, I can say class is equal to and subtitle. Now to select a class in CSS, you can go dot subtitle. So anything with a dot for a class, anything with a hashtag for IDs, and the element itself is for the elements. Then here we could say color blue and font size 1 rem. So now you'll see the color is blue and the font size is 1 rem. And now you're also following good practice, because now multiple classes can be added to elements and apply the same styling instead of having to use multiple IDs, which you should not be doing. A somewhat more complex way of going through this is you can also do something such as h1.subtitle. This means it will only target the h1 elements with this class. So if I copy and paste this h1, you'll see it also gets modified, but this h2 will not. And as you can see here, it actually tells you it will need an h1 with this class on it. You also have the universal selector, which affects all the elements on this page. So that will be an asterisk. Meaning if I do something such as text align and I say it's center, so this will align text to the center, everything will be aligned to the center. So this affects everything on the page. Now let's say you want to select multiple elements. I'm just going to clean up here a bit. You want to select multiple elements and apply the same styling. However, you do not want to apply that same styling to all of the elements. For example, let's put in h3 here. This is some text. So what we want to do is we want to apply the same styling to the p tags, the h1 tags, and the h3, but not the h2. One way you can do it is say p, and here we say color blue, font size 1.4 rem, and we'll get into this rem and pixels and stuff later. You don't have to worry about that now. And then you could copy this and paste it for h1 and h3. This will work. So as you can see, now they're all the same styling. However, this is kind of unnecessary code duplication, because let's say you want to change the font, now you want to make it 1.5, but now you have to change it in multiple places, which is somewhat annoying to do. What you could do is say p, h1, h3. This order doesn't matter, but this will select all of them at the same time. So here I could say 1.1 rem. All of them will be affected at the same time. So this way, if all of them share the same styling, then you can use this to style all of them at once. Another thing you can do is something such as div p. You'll notice when we hover over it, it says div with any of its children being a p tag, and it will gain this styling. So nothing here has that styling, but if I were to say div and then pass this p tag into this div, this p tag will get that styling. But you'll notice if we go div and put another p tag here, and here we can also put some lorem, this p tag will also be affected. If you only want this div's children to be affected, that is specifically a p tag, you can use this symbol right here, this bigger than symbol. This means it should be specifically a p tag of this div. So if we were to say section here, save that, then you'll notice this div has a p tag which is blue, so you'll see blue. But in section, it does not have that. But if we were to remove this, you'll notice the one in section also gets it. So this here will affect all of the p tags inside of that div, even if it's children of something else. This will make sure that the p tag has to be a direct child of this div. Meaning also if you were to do this, it will be blue, as you can see. But since this is a different tag, its children will not be selected. You also have this plus. Now if you hover over it, you'll see div and then p. This means the div with direct element following it should be a p. So right here, you'll see this div here, everything inside of it is normal color. But this p, because it's directly following this div, it will be blue. So here, if we were to say span instead and put some text here, this will no longer be applied because it is not directly following a div. And take note, if this is a lot for you to take in at this moment, you don't have to remember this continuously. As you practice CSS, you'll start remembering this like second nature. So if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by all of this information, don't be. You will remember it over time. You also have the tilde. If you hover over it, you'll see P and then a bunch of dots, or div and a bunch of dots and P. So if we were to have multiple P tags here, like this, you'll notice it's also blue. If we were to change this to plus, only the first one following would be blue. If we make it a tilde, all of them following this div element will be blue. So even if you break it by going span as an example, it will still make all of the P tags following this div blue. Because this means all of the P tags after this div has been selected should be blue. And take note, this could be a class value. This could be some sort of class or some sort of div. ID, I mean. But I'm just using a div to keep it simple. And then finally, let's take a look at attribute selectors. So let's, for example, say we have an A tag. Or let's go with this P here. And here we might have a link. And we say that can go somewhere. And we can just put this $ in there. And then we can have another A tag. This A tag also goes somewhere. In this case, we don't care. And it links this word. But this link, we wanted to go to a different page. So we say target _ blank. So this will target this to a new tab. If I click on here, it's actually going to tell me, do you want it to pop up because I have an extension. If I say yes, it's going to open up a new tab. If I click this one, it's going to try and open it up on the same page. Now let's say I want to color my A tags. However, and let's make this red. However, I don't want my A tags, or I don't want this A tag to be colored. I only want those that goes to a new page. So when you click on them, it opens up a new tab. I only want those to actually be this styling. To do that, we can use this. Anything in here would be an attribute. So if I say target, then any A tag with the target attribute like this will be affected. So you can see only this one is affected because it has a target attribute attached. If this was href, then all of them would be attached because href is both. But we have target, only those with the target attribute is selected. You can also specify specific target because let's say we have a target here and this target is _parent, then both of them will be selected. But let's say you only wanted to target _blank. Then you could say target is equal to, and in quotation marks, _blank. Now it will only apply the styling to the A tag with the target that says _blank. And you can of course use this with a lot of other elements as well that has attributes. And I think that's good enough. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all again in the next CSS tutorial.